Was his name? Oh, hello, everybody. Thanks for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. I would like to thank the first two people in the chat today, and they are Mike's Chaotic Gardening. He's welcoming in everyone. Joanne Stevens is pink hand waving to Mike, and there are three people here. Oh, this is the part where Mike tells me he's in the ads because my phone just came on over there so that I can try to see the chat, and I'm in my own ads and I need to because I have to pay my restream rent every month, and it's more than I actually take in. So every little bit helps. I would like to thank those of you who are here for the replay. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. And let's see. Oh, I'm trying to think how many more Saturdays I have here. I have two more two more live streams from Arizona where it is over 100 degrees every day. I would like to thank the moderators. I would like to thank the Friends and Family Club members who pay a monthly little charge of, I think it's $1.99 to contribute towards the cause. But everything that you guys do helps the channel to grow, and I thank each and every one of you because good friends become family, and family is everything. Hello, Juanita Campbell. Thanks for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. Maria Graham, thank you for coming and welcome. All those warm temperatures all over the country. I am now the recipient of them, and everybody in Connecticut is just whining and complaining. So, just to give you guys an idea of the itinerary for today, we will be talking as far as sewing and quilting about zero, zero quilting, zero waste, zero waste quilting. And what that is not throwing anything away. They used to call it crumb quilting, but zero waste is throwing even less of that away. Hey, 755 Media, thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. And we just talked about Mike in the ads. I just finished watching the ads myself so I can try to pay some rent. Mona did what? Thank you. I thank each and every one of you. Why? Because good friends become family, and family is everything. I forgot to put the shower cap on. You know how you turn around three times like Cinderella? I came in from working in the garden, turned around three times in the shower. It's like, what? What? I put my watch on to make sure those were long ads. I know. What happens with that, Mike? I get them and it's like, I don't know. But the thing of it is, they put the ads on whether I get paid or not. If I don't turn on the whatever the word is, that little dollar sign, they play the ads anyway. And I don't get not one stinking dime. For those of you who are content creators, if you put put exclamation mark GQUAT, you can drop your link. So there we go. And thank you for visiting. I appreciate each and every one of you. Mona, I saw you guys from the bushes, you and Deb and Lisa and everybody. I do the best I can. And then plus, I'm on vacation. I'm staying with family members who have put all their side time aside for me Hola, mi hermana. Just came home a tu casa just in time. Just in time. I found you. Look, my hair is soaking soggy wet. Yep, soaking soggy wet. And but I'm clean. I'm clean. I took had time to make that shower in for you guys. This is my Quilt Africa Tribe t-shirt. I belong to a quilting group based in Nigeria, but the the starter of the channel lives in Nigeria, but we have members from all over the world, Australia, parts of Europe, South Africa, and primarily they quilt using African fabrics. The African fabrics, now it's not one country, is really superior to most of the cottons that you buy around the world, the quilting fabrics. Indonesia, I would say, is next with the batiks because the fabrics are so saturated with color. I'm looking for some that you can't tell the right side from the wrong side. It's very, very difficult. You can actually use both sides. This is not an African fabric, but I want to show you, for example, this is the right side. It was some kind of a bird, but his head is chopped off. And this is the wrong side. You can barely tell, but it has less little blue lines on it. I actually like the side that doesn't have as many of the blue lines on it. But so every week I try to, this is a variety channel. Thank you, Maria Graham. And we talk about gardening, cooking from scratch. I've been doing a lot of that. Too bad you all aren't near. Auntie Joanna's downstairs. She'll tell you I make cornbread almost every day, at least every other day. And I change the formulas because I don't exactly measure when I cook. Associate Minister Terry Jones, thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. Appreciate you. Cassandra's South Fulton Garden, thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. I appreciate each and every one of you. And going back to the format of the channel, the GQUAT stands for Garden, Quilt, and Art Traditions. That's for all of the arts, whether it's painting, you name it, heritage quilting, I mean heritage arts, fine arts, we do it all. I might oh Associate Minister Terry saying to the subscribers, so please set an alarm so that you can come back again. And if you are not subscribers on the channel, think about it. I don't know, Mike's is frozen. Is anybody else frozen? I see the chat moving. So Mike, I don't know. I think the world is just picking up on you. How is your weather there? The weather here is nice. We actually got some giant rain right after I planted the garden out here. So, where are you guys coming in from? What state? I bring it every day. Kelly, thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, I stayed on hold with Amazon so long today. I got 3 more rows knitted on Uncle Roscoe's scarf. You refreshed it? It's okay. You had to pop it around a little bit. So I'm glad to see each of you. Yankee Sister said her chat is okay. It's a beautiful 74 in Minnesota. Where are you guys coming in from and what is the temperature where you are? I am in the West Valley of Arizona, west of Phoenix, and it is 102 degrees here right now. I just came in. I planted the last thing that I wanted to. Yankee Sister says Connecticut 6B. She actually lives about 15 miles from me. If I might be up there begging for plants because I don't have anything planted empty thing. I have my winter sewing things. I put the jars out there. So we'll find out. Today is June 7th. I'm going back to Connecticut on June 17th. So I am getting my money's worth out of this trip. Diversity Love, thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. I appreciate you guys. I love each and every one of you. And it means a lot to me that you take time out to come and see me. So without further ado, let's talk about the gardening, finishing that up. I planted the last thing outside, which is potatoes. I planted some Yukon Gold organic potatoes, and I'm trying something different here because the ground gets so hot. So I am Associate Minister Terry says no lag, no echo. It's moving on his end. Oh, you have plans for me, mi amor? Thank you, hermana. She's so good to me. She gives me flowers, plants, starter plants, nut seeds. She knows I don't have anything, but my sister will eat. So what I did with the, I'm going to post a video. There was an extra thick, one of those really thick blue totes. So, and I apologize if there's anybody that I didn't see, and because I'm excited to get to the zero waste quilting at the end of this little talk. So I went out there with a new soldering iron. Good thing Auntie Joanne would not have been happy with me if I had used her soldering iron to poke through this big thick tote, because I had to stick past all the melty part and the plastic. It was burning. She was inside the house with the windows closed, and she said some of the fumes from where I was out on the patio, they were coming inside. They were horrible, horrible, horrible. But I've got a gazillion holes on the bottom, on the sides, on the ends. Then I took some of the Amazon boxes, tore them up, threw them in the bottom, wet those down, took some mulch, put about 6 inches of mulch down the bottom to absorb water and keep it moist. But this time, you guys, I'm planting in straw. And this is not the kind of regular straw. It's for seedlings, but I'm using it as a grow medium. Cassandra says it's 86 degrees with rain and thunderstorms in Georgia. Her electricity is out right now. Oh, I'm so sorry. Doretha Butterroll Boutique, thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. You guys on her channel, I saw them exchanging postcards. You know, I make fabric coat postcards. I make them with paper and other things too. So, yes, I know I have some going in the mail. I didn't get to the post office yet. I have not been out of the subdivision. Auntie Joanne was actually in the hospital a couple weeks ago and going to doctor's appointments and everything. I just haven't gotten to the post office. But anybody who makes a postcard in any medium and sends it to me, I will exchange and make one for them. Of course, this was Nikki's, and this is a mug rug. So, speaking of mug rugs, we will get on to what we were working on tonight. My needle, the other Thursday when I was working on a project, we were making mug rugs that I was going to leave for a house gift for Auntie Joanne and Uncle Roscoe here. So blessed by Jess. Thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. You guys are probably on a break finished. I saw you guys today from the bushes. So this is a mug rug. It's actually pretty thick because I have denim on the back, cotton batting, as you could see from this one, and some pre-washed African fabrics. I don't always, you want to trade a postcard? Well, all of my information to reach me, Doretha, is on my about page. and you email me and I'll give you my mailing address and I'd be happy to trade with any of you. So this was some fabric, but in the corners was really thick. I'm using Auntie Joanne's featherweight, and she had a regular sewing needle in it because she was doing some very fine quilting. Well, when I got to the corners, look, it I actually went off the rails. It was so thick. See that? And it wouldn't sew through it. So I stopped because I didn't want to break the needle. I think I actually bent it though because she came up today. I bought some heavy duty needles, 14s, 16s, and 18s. A 16 is a jeans needle, so I put that in here. Sis Joanne Stevens, Yankee Sisters, praying for speedy healing. So between us, we put a new needle in, and where it was sewing crooked, where it was going around the edges of the thick fabric, I'm going to pick that out and redo it. But speaking of which, here's one ready to turn. And where did I put my purple thingy? Oh, it's on the sewing machine. I'm just going to bend this forward a little bit. This thing is actually called a purple thingy. It does multi-purpose things. And when I'm home, I always have my chopstick in a little container. So I'm going to try to use my purple thingy. It came two in a pack, so my sister's is up there. No, Sissy, I'm only using your sewing machine and your fabrics and your pins and everything else. But this is actually my purple. Oh, yeah, it has my name on it. Hers is over there, her purple thingy. So let's turn this one inside out and see if we can turn around the edges. It's okay if the batting isn't even when you turn it inside out because it is going to be turned inward. And I can see where I left the opening. It's right there, right there. So I decided to make a set of four. Normally, I start out with a 5-inch block. Why? Because I'm hoping you guys can see this. A 5-inch charm square, because you can buy them already pre-cut. You can cut them yourself. You can put the average coffee cut. Some of the really big ones, not so much. My son posted a made a post on Facebook, and he was talking about he's a workoutaholic, and when he's not on his full-time jobs, he has a couple of those. And you see, I'm turning these inside out with my fingers. Then I'll push the corners with my purple thingy. And he had a can of ground Cafe Bustelo, and he had an espresso pot, the old fashioned one. And he was talking about he remembered growing up, and his mother, Ellen Pankey, that would be me, and I've always loved good coffee. I've had all the coffee makers and stuff. I think I even bought him a frother at one time. You can buy the frother for making any kind of fancy coffee. Butter roll boutique, you said you're horrible at sewing. Sewing takes time. Donzel Cooper, welcome in. Thank you for coming and welcome. Mother! Yankee Sister says hello. My daughter came up from New York yesterday and went to see mom. She's still in rehab. She was in the hospital about a month ago. She's been out for a couple of weeks. I went to see her for Mother's Day. I'm turning this. I don't maybe if I sit back you see my face and this. So, I'm turning the corners with my purple thingy. Maybe I'll do two of them. And you want to push your corners out with something that's not so sharp that it pushes a hole in it. And I don't want to break my purple thingy. Well, oh, that did it. Perfect. Look at that. Look at this nice point. purple thingy, yeah, did the job. There are a couple sewists in here that have a quilting machine called a Grace Cutie Breeze. Mona just got one of them. I bought one before I left Connecticut, but I didn't put it together. I did buy a special table for it. And the special table, I got everything put together with my helper. We got everything put together. Oh, that's the one that's messed up. So I'll turn this one. And the very last foot wouldn't go down. You couldn't tap it with a hammer lightly, nothing. So I had been meaning to tell them. It seemed a lot, the people that I bought the table from, I reached out to their customer service, finally just got to them after I got to Arizona, and I it went into my draft. So it never got sent out to the guy. This weekend, when I was going over my little due diligence things I needed to do, I noticed that the email, he hadn't responded. So then I realized I had not sent it to him. So he was a very nice man. He responded to it and he said, well, maybe you can adjust the other 3 feet so that they fit the same size. Oh, stabbed him a little bit hard. I did. And I said, well, I had done that before I even wrote to you, but that's not the height that I wanted the table. So it's making the table a little lower than I really intended to. And it's uncomfortable. Joy T, thank you for coming. Thank all of you. And welcome, welcome, welcome. So Auntie Joanne and Uncle Roscoe are going to get these 4 really nice mug rugs. And although they look like they're the same, you will be able to tell them apart. You know how you go to some places and they have wine glasses and they have little charms you put on them or something so that you can tell your glass from the next person? Oops, you didn't see that go through. Don't tell my sister, Joanne Stevens. Don't tell her I just stabbed it through its heart. So this one is done. This actually made it faster. I'm just going to finger press it. But I'm going to show you in a second how you can tell them apart because this fabric has a very big pattern in it. So look at this one. You can see like 2 flowers. Look at this one. I was actually going to fussy cut this one because I really liked him. Then there's one in the middle. You can probably see where I cut them apart. And then there's this one. So you can, if you're not inebriated, you can tell the difference between them. So I'm going to turn this last one inside out. One thing I want to tell you guys who are starting your sewing, beginning sewing, the one thing you never, ever, ever want to do in quilting is leave a pin inside of a quilt or something that you're making for someone. That is the worst thing ever. Uh, oh, Joy T, I'm making 4 mug rugs to leave here for a house gift. My sister and Uncle Roscoe downstairs in the den there's an orange leather sofa. So it's one big. I wasn't going to be using this. Her ruler. I was supposed to use my purple thingy. This is a 1/4 inch measure that she uses from her for some of her drafting, her interior design plans and things. So it's exactly 1/4 of an inch. But I was using it to tap on a vase since I didn't bring Lilac's little bell. So I'm going to push this last corner out. You never want to leave a pin on the inside. When I first started quilting, I left one pin inside. Maria Grant says they're very nice. Excuse me. And I'm using some denim. Actually, some of her denim that I borrowed. I borrowed. She let me. She let me. Her husband said, I asked him if I could do something today. He said, of course you can, sissy. You're home. Auntie Joanne and Uncle Roscoe have been married 50 years, so he has been my brother for at least 50 years. And one time I lived with them when I first moved to LA. Oh, you should have seen. She'll probably tell you what I did to that bedroom that I lived in. I adapted the closet. I had all these antiques. I had so much. Orange is one of your favorite colors. I like it for an accent color. When I use a lot of the African fabrics have deep, dark, rich colors. So I like to brighten it up with some orange, sometimes red. I'm not a big red person, but I use anything that will contribute to the art. So I'm going to turn this in. And Donzel Cooper, the reason I'm sure I bent that needle that was in Auntie Joanne's machine, because you know how those of you who've been following me, I normally leave the edges and hand sew them with a needle and thread so that I don't sew close to the edges. When you sew close to the edges, you see this? You have the denim that's bent down twice. You've got this thick cotton that's bent down twice. And you've got a layer of batting. So you're actually sewing through 5 layers that are really thick on the ends. But if you sew like a 1/4 inch inside all the way around, it's not as thick. It's not as thick, but you won't catch the edges either. That is if you're using thick, thick, thick fabric. So now I'm going to try something different. Since I've been at Auntie Joanne's house, I have been putting the computer on the side. I'm going to try something different. Oh, this is my favorite stiletto. I like a really thin stiletto when I'm using tiny pieces because I can feed it all the way in under and past the presser foot. The new ones that are thick, they're cute and they have multiple uses, but you use what's good for you, what makes you. No turkey innards left inside a turkey dinner. That's right. Oh, guess what we're having for dinner tomorrow? We're having, I was looking to order some chickens, some whole chickens, and I came across some Cornish hens. I have not had Cornish hens in, I don't even know, at least 10, 15 years. So we got a couple Cornish hens, and I already crumbled up some cornbread for something, some stuffing. I didn't know what. It's in the freezer. So I'm trying to move something around. They say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm always trying to do something different. Okay, so now what I did was I'm going to take that GQUAT off of there. Those of you who are content creators, put exclamation mark GQUAT in the chat and you can drop your channel and connect with each other. Okay, so now I'm going to take this off. No, don't remove it from the list. Okay, I'll fix that later. And I'm going to put you in front of the sewing machine so you'll be here and watching me feed it through that way. So that's just something different I was going to try. And there is a heavy duty needle in here. I believe I put a size 16. And this is a Singer sewing machine. On my Singer sewing machines, I really, 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 really like using Singer needles. They say that they do other things. And for those of you who don't sew, a sewing needle has a little channel going down the front of the needle, and that's the front of the needle, and you can stick your thumb in it, and what it does is help the thread feed up evenly so that you have nice straight stitches. Okay, so let me see if I can see the chat. Let me see if I can see the chat. You love Cornish hens? That Sissy doesn't even know it. I even put some cranberry sauce in the freezer. It's not homemade this time, but it's not the holidays. I'm just doing something. Made some of the best cornbread yesterday. Oh, and 2 homemade no-bake lemon pies. No, this time the lemons didn't come. Auntie Joanne has a huge Meyer lemon tree on the side of the house. She also, how did I say I was going to do this? Change the bobbin thread. I'll just do it. I will just do it. And, oh, I forgot what I was telling you about the Cornish hens. But we're going to have a good dinner. I made and I'm going to make my stitch length 12 stitches per inch. The newer machines, like the Brothers and whatnot, they make them in millimeters. You put like 3.0 millimeters. So I will sew not too fast through all these thicknesses, and I won't sew all the way to the corner like I did. Oh, I was telling you, I like the Singer. Huh. It's not sewing. The Singer needles and the Singer sewing machines. So, what is going on here? So let's get a piece of scrap and see if we can figure it out. So, I will, hate to do it, on this beautiful piece of fabric, but I don't have any unbleached muslin scraps that I usually use. I'll just sew this and pick it out. Okay, let's see what's going on. It's not stitching. Let me look and take the bobbin out and put it back. I don't know why. Yep, so speaking of cooking, I made 2 no-bake lemon pies. So whenever something's not sewing, you try rethreading it. Oh, hope I don't have to rethread that needle. So I'm putting the bobbin back in. I use this type of machine all the time, so I know it goes in backwards. Put it down. Put it in until it clicks. Now that I think about it, the other night when I was doing that, I'm not sure if it clicked when I went back in. Okay. So now I pull the bobbin thread up. I see it and feel it. Put the thread in the back. And let's try this again. Do any of you have any questions? Okay. There's the foot. So baby, so don't act up like that. So I guess she is going to act up and not so. Oh, that's a bummer. That's a bummer. Well, that's okay. We will. I will do one last thing. I will rethread the top thread, which is all tangled up now. So hold on. Hold on, you guys. At least you get to see all the details. You know what I'm going to do? I am not going to try to save this thread. This is a lot of thread. The last thing I want are little lumps and things stuck.
Sissy,
Yes.
check the direction that you have the thread, the way the thread is going through the needle,
Yes.
because it was doing that to me when I was doing my quilt. It was like not catching,
Okay.
and it's the direction that the thread goes through the needle.
Yes,
I think
it goes through
left
from
to-
right to left. It goes
Okay.
from right to left.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I did. You want to say hello, you guys?
Oh, hi. No, baby, no.
They can't see you.
Hi, everybody.
Can I at least just, you guys? I'm at my sister's house in Arizona. So she came to the door to tell me something. She won't show her face, but that's
No.
okay.
Not today.
Okay.
Not today. But try that, baby, because that's what it was doing to me.
Okay.
It was like the direction that the thread was going through the needle.
Yes. And I had it going through the correct way because the needle goes in from right to left. But we're going to redo the whole thing
Okay.
and make sure.
Someone asked you where your thread was too.
My thread is right. Oh, right here. Thank you. It's right there. Right there. One of the things for those of you at featherweights, you don't want to put the thread too far on the right hand side where there's a belt. Because, Hunty, if there's a belt that moves, the thread can get wound around it until it gets caught up in your motor. Ask me how I know. Ask me. I'll dare you to ask me. So we're going through there, putting it through the two loops, the two plates, up and around. Now, excuse me, I have to take off my cute glasses, put on my dollar store magnifying glasses. Isn't that funny? Hey, Barb Brownlee, thanks for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. Nothing beats homemade, right? Oh, my sister doesn't eat unhealthy. Well, I won't say unhealthy, but she's very selective about what she eats. I made the lemon pie yesterday, and it's supposed to sit overnight to firm up. Hunty, Uncle Roscoe was the first one in the pie. He doesn't always eat his food. And Auntie Joanne said, okay, Uncle Roscoe, if you don't, no, you can have dessert. Let's have dessert after you eat. So he cleaned his plate. He cleaned his plate. The whole time I have been here, I have never seen him. Oh, the other thing, by me putting the computer in back of the machine, I don't get that glare and I can turn my light on. Okay. So now we're going from right to left. Ta-da! Auntie Ellen, eagle eyes. But just so. Okay, so I can take off my Dollar Tree joints and and I can put on my cutie pie glasses. These don't really magnify, but they have a tiny little bit down the bottom. They're not as ugly as the other ones, and I don't have to look over the top. So, how come I don't put it on the top spool? Who asked me that? Joy T. This is why. This is a top spool. It's you can only thread it from the top. When you have a spool like this, and the thread comes off in different ways. This you have to have a special stand. This one actually happens to be metal and very heavy. You can also, those of you who are new sewing, you can put the thread, this kind of the big spools of thread. This is about 5,000 yards of thread on this one. I hate rethreading my machine, so I buy big thread. You can put your thread in a heavy mug and put it on the floor to the left of your machine, and it will spool up the same way. So let's see if she's going to sew. No. So, um, I don't know, guys. It's something to do with the needle. So, joy to you like mine. You silver a piece every time you walk by it. Oh, the piece of cake. So, I will just talk to you guys about zero waste piecing, but I won't be piecing because I have to get this adjusted. I'm sure it's something small. I will have it corrected. I just don't want to waste your time while I'm doing that. And what I want to show you is zero waste quilting. I was talking to my sister today, and we were talking about some fabric that I bought, some authentic African fabric, really good quality, very heavy. And I bought, I know that I bought, and I had it shipped to my mom's house because I didn't want it sent to my apartment and be left in the lobby or somewhere. So I had it shipped to mom's house because it would make the shipping less. If they sent it to my post office box, for some reason, it would cost more money. So I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I bought some fabric. I think it was about 85, 90, maybe $120 worth of fabric. There was a 6 yard piece. There were some other pieces, a couple fat quarters, and some charm squares. Well, I think I paid like somewhere between 60 and $85 for the shipping. Oh my goodness, for the shipping on it. So Crafty Leo was saying, Auntie Ellen, I throw pieces like that in the trash. I think she had pieces like maybe not this big, but like squares 2.5 inches. I'm not throwing them away. What I'm doing is taking these fabrics, and I'll show you what I've done. And this is considered an art more so than even the big quilts. And the reason I say that is just so that those of you who are thinking about quilting or you want to hand sew things, I can show you when I get back to Connecticut some articles. Hold on one minute. I don't know. Oh, there you are. Some articles. Do you know that doll quilts, some of the quilts that people make for their dolls, for their children, their grandchildren, are worth more money than bedside quilts? You know why? Because they're usually one of a kind, they're more detailed. So they are worth more than some of the big quilts. So I want to show you this piece. You see this? What I'm doing is sewing these tiny pieces together. This is 3 pieces. And what I'm doing, I'm going to make a piece of fabric that's big enough. For those of you who've been watching, I have this frame. So I started with these little piece of fabric. This one was only 2.5 inches to start. This is some authentic South African fabric that came from like before apartheid, and you can't they don't make it anymore. It's Dutch fabric. It's printed on the back. So I wanted to take these little ladies and make something one of a kind. So in the past, fabrics that were purple were only for royalty, like the Thai black rice, things like that. The color purple that was considered like a royal color. So I put this by her. There's only one that you can see, and a piece of a woman, but this is intentional because I want this to be little pieces of fabric in art. So what I'm going to do is add pieces to the front, I mean to the top, the side, not so much until I have a piece big enough to fit in here and make a piece of hoop art. So I'm at Auntie Joanne's house. I don't want to raid her real stash. She has a lot of fabric. She's been collecting it for years, and she hasn't been sewing for years. She just started back sewing. Been sewing for at least 70 years, but not quilting. So now she's decided she wanted to quilt. But see these little pieces where you can see the people? I'm going to position it so that you can see the drums. All these little pieces, like here are 3 pieces I started sewing back together. This now this is for real zero waste. So this piece, you see lots of pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tiny pieces sewn together. Great idea, hoop art. And you don't have to use a hoop this big. When I was growing up, we had small hoops, embroidery hoops. Okay, this is not sewn together yet, but I'm going to stick this on there some kind of way. This is an adinkra symbol that means love. So I wanted to share with you some of the pieces that I have sewn together. You see this little piece? It's actually 2 pieces. 1, 2. And then I'm sewing those to, oh, actually, they're already sewn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then this little piece. So in quilting, you usually use a quarter inch foot. I mean, quarter-inch seam. A quarter-inch foot does not mean that you're going to get a quarter-inch seam, though. Hey, Vintage Styles by Joe. Thanks for coming and welcome. Sorry, I was so busy talking, I didn't see you come in. So, we're talking about zero waste quilting. And as I look at the back of this little piece, I was telling you about the fabric. It's called Shwar. It's SHWE, but it sounds like Shwar. And that is this authentic South African fabric that one of my friends who is an Afrikaner from there actually hand carried it over and gave it to me. A funny story he told me about his house and the house that he grew up in is couple hundred years old. Stay safe, Mike. Oh, Yankee Sister says, waste not, want not. So, an interesting story that he told about his family's farm over there. He said that the kitchen floor was made out of pennies. You know, the pennies in the United States are supposed to be done away with soon, but the pennies had been set in concrete on his family's farm floor, and the years of bare feet walking on it have worn the pennies. You know how you see the old pennies that are kind of smooth? Maybe not so much now because there aren't so many. But he said that the floor was completely made of pennies. So, Butterroll Boutique, if you're paying the $20 a yard for these authentic fabrics, sometimes even more, then all that money to ship it, you want to use it all. I'm doing it for art's sake. I'm doing it for art's sake. Here's another little piece with like two little pieces. I want you guys to see because I really spent a lot of time sewing this together. Here's three little pieces sewn together. This is just a piece that I'm going to sew on. Here's another tiny piece with two pieces. So all these little pieces that you see, I'm going to connect them together. And I made some like little bright strips in between just to brighten it up. So there won't be like all dark, all light fabrics. Here's an interesting piece of nice textile fabric. This is a batik. It's hard to tell the front from the back. I actually have some of Auntie Joanne's scraps over here, but I didn't want to beg for any more. And I know this is a cone of black because sometimes you need a place for the eye to rest. Like in painting, they call it negative space. So that's what we will be using here. So here are a couple more pieces. This piece that God wouldn't let me sew this because it's really a nice piece of fabric and it needs to go in something. This is what's called a watermark batik, where it's been dipped down into the dye so many times, but you can't tell the front from the back of this one. And here is another piece of three. So these are sewn with these tiny little, you see these little seams? Normally you use a quarter of an inch, but they're so tiny, I'm actually sewing some of them 1/8 of an inch, just so that I can use the zero waste and use these scraps of fabric. I just love this. This is so much fun. Now here is another piece of watermark batik. Now, I want to ask you guys, can you tell the front from the back? Now, here's one side. Here is the other side. I honestly, I think this is the side with the orange and the white string, but it's actually, can any of you tell the right side from the wrong side? This is when you buy the fabric that is costly. Now, I can feel this fabric. This fabric is not as thick, the weight. Fabric is sold by weight, and the quality of the dyes. The old dyes were made with natural inks. Some of the new dyes are made with chemicals. These are like all natural. All natural. Look at this. We're sewing all these tiny little pieces together. Tiny pieces. Tiny pieces. So the warden is downstairs. She's not a warden, Auntie Joanne. And I'm going to show you some of, would you like to see some of her fabrics? You all always do. This is where a piece of her imagination fabric was taken. But since my machine is acting up and I obviously need to do something, I know it has, uh-oh, oops, that's me touching stuff. Hold on one second. Here is a piece of black fabric. This piece, you can tell this is the front and that's the back. Because in the newer fabrics, they are not putting as much, they're not putting as much ink, dye into it, and they are not putting the same weight of the fabrics. Everything in the world, you guys, the is changing. Let me see some of the others. Hold on, because I'm in her studio and I'm going to grab some fabrics. So that that container has stuff that she's actually working on. I don't want to take it. And these are some of her imported fabrics. Button pushing. I'll push anybody's button. So I will take the top off. Oh, and when you get these imported fabrics, they're always printed on the edge. By law, it's like you get meat in the United States. It says USDA. The authentic fabrics are printed along the edge. Some people, when they make their quilts, Joy T, they keep the edges of the fabric just to show off, to brag that they had some of this fancy fabric. So this, I remember when I bought this, this was one of those 6-yard pieces that I had sent over, that I bought the whole section of it. And I pieced it out. I did different things. I made some fat quarters. I put it on some edges of some fabric for a piece for Uncle Roscoe. And here's the rest of it. I sent my sister. It started out as a fat quarter, but she didn't. She was made to make a bandana, but Auntie Joanne's hair is down past her waist. It's all the way to her behind, and it wouldn't fit all her hair in there. So I know where this piece of fabric. This is funny. My sister's being rude and disrespectful. She opened the door. She threw some fabric pieces at me. These are some of her scrap. Oh my gosh. This is amazing. You guys, this is exciting. It's like going in somebody's Bible. My mother's family Bible is like 300 or 400 years old. It's from the early 1800s. And yes, some people knew how to read and write then. And she did have a Bible. But inside the family Bible that has been passed down from generations, there were seeds inside the Bible. And it was like that onion skin kind of paper. And some of her cousins that were custodians of the Bible were saying for me to be careful not to turn the Bible so that the seeds fell out. A production assistant, say Auntie Joanne. Oh, she says I'm welcome to use these. Now she tells me, oh, oh. Well, I'm going to show you some of the bigger pieces first. So this is a piece I know. This is a piece that is already, that was imported, and it was already hand stitched. You guys remember I had a piece of it that I put into a quilt, and those are these are French knots. This is metallic. This is metallic thread. And all these are hand stitched. I guess she's going to take this apart and use it for something. But fabric is so interesting, and especially now you see why you use all the bits and pieces. I remember where this piece came. I know where almost every piece came from. I've been hoarding them for years. This came from a place in New York City. The guy was from Pakistan, but he sold imported fabrics. And when I was in North Carolina, I ordered some and had him send them. Maybe she gave me them scraps so I'll get out of her real fabric. So that I'll get out of her real fabric. And okay, I know what these are. This says fat quarters, but these, oh, they really are fat quarters. These are, this is interesting, right? Going through other people's business. For those of you who sew and quilt, this is fun. So these are, and a lot of you can do this if you sew or you buy like charm squares. Buy some fat quarters. This is 100% cotton. So what these are blenders. So she has all these fabrics, African fabrics, Indonesian fabrics, with all these prints, like even this little piece. It's like, what does this match? It doesn't match anything. If you're matchy matchy, you don't want to put them next to, you would not put this next to this. That would be gross and repugnant. But you buy these blenders and you have something to put between the colors of all that fancy fabric that's just paid an arm and a leg for, and you don't want to use it. So these really were fat quarters of blenders. So no matter what kind of fabric you have, if you have prints, you want to get some blenders so that you can mix. Mike said, "We nosy, we nosy." So this is fun. This is fun. Beautiful stitching in that fabric. Oh, he said the camera angle is great. Thank you. For those of you who are new, Auntie Joanne is actually a glass artist. I'm in her husband's office. He can't get in here this month with me here. I sleep in the room next door. But all of those glass pieces up there are pieces of Auntie Joanne's glass that she made. Okay, so, oh, you know that zebras, there are no two zebras alike. There are no two zebra fabrics alike when you buy them. So look at this piece. I think she has fussy cut it so that, I'm trying to hold it still. Can you see the zebra's face? Look at that. Isn't that amazing? And this piece is, I think, I forgot what kind of you call an Ankara, some type of bench. So I'm going to get out of this one because all of these strips and pieces are actually ironed. But I just want to show you how I tell you about the fabrics and the pieces being marked. It's like the print is on the side, so you don't throw these away. You save these and you try to incorporate them in your pieces so that people can see them at sometimes. I'm just taking some of the ones that are interesting out. This is actually a big piece and it's a mix and mingle. This one is not, these are not as necessarily now African fabrics. Oh, whoa. Now these are, this is some of the schwa that I was telling you about. So this is where my friend Hannes hand carried them from Africa, and he used to work with one of my family members, and he also was an international chef. He invited us to his home in New Jersey one year. I don't know, one of my birthdays. And you know how the chefs come out and they give you a tasting dish and they serve each entree, each piece separately? He did that. And then he had some wine that was like $200 a bottle. Really nice. But the pièce de resistance, he said that he had more fabric that he would ever use in a lifetime. And he was vice president of sweaters for an international retailer, one of the big names, one of the Fortune 500 companies. So I'm going to show you some of the swar. So I'm going to show you the back first. And this is a very thick fabric, and it's printed. It's printed. They're mostly like geometric shapes. But I guess you can see in the corner where it's stamped. You have to go the wrong way. So she said she sees a zebra's face. So this is so when he gave me the fabric, I gave some of it to my sister. I'm gonna put this down so I don't drop it off my lap. Oh, but before I do, I'll just pick this one up because this is really interesting. See what she has left. Mine is all cut up from over the years and making so many quilts. So this one is in the same colorways, but it's a different pattern. So this must have been a pretty big piece. He must have given me a half yard of this, and then I gave my sister a fat quarter. You can see the whole imprint of the seal on the back of this fabric. So, and this is the pattern on the front. It doesn't seem very interesting other than the fact that the fabric is authentic and they don't make it anymore. This is like a vintage fabric that it doesn't, because the Dutch don't rule Africa. There's not this is from colonial times. So, which is probably how he got it, because like I said, he's an Afrikaner. His family has been there for centuries, and this was part of his personal stash. So here's the back of this piece. You cannot get this fabric. Well, maybe in some pieces, bits and pieces, but this was a collection that he gave me for my birthday, and it was in a hand woven basket. It was a market basket from over there, and from the years of carrying it like on your hip with a lot of stuff in it, it's actually shaped, and it has a leather handle. I'll show you when I get back home. It's one of my prized pieces. I don't know what happened. I guess I'm in the ads again. Joy said, gorgeous. These fabrics are used for garment making. Yes, Joy. You can use it for garment making. You can use it for interior design. So here's the back of this stamp piece. Now see me, because I'm getting better. This is what I would mix, and I think that's what had some of the fabric, like with some of these batiks, just to break them up a little bit and to break up the brown and the white. So this is what this one looks like. It's like little rising suns. Little Rising Sun. Auntie Joanne probably doesn't know or forgot what's in here. So maybe she'll go in here and make something so her sister doesn't get in it. I actually have a quilt laid out that I need to be working on. I showed it to you guys when I first got here, and it's already laid out, the backing, the batting, and the front. It's a panel, but I haven't been in here sewing. I've been out there farming. So again, this is like the other one. It looks like the sun. So I'll show you another piece. Oh, this is a pretty big piece too. Oh, my sister hit the jackpot with me. Right? So I'll show you the back of it first, because you can see the seals. And this is what the front looks like. And I don't know if maybe the thickness will show. You can see how thick the fabric is. This is not just some thin piece of cotton that you got from one of the big box stores. This is a really nice, really hefty piece of fabric. Okay. So Sissy, I'm neatly sewing, folding your stuff up and putting it back, Sissy, so that I won't be banned from going in her fabrics. And you guys, this is just one little piece. So I showed you this one. This one was embroidered, but even though this, I know where this one came from. My church went to Senegal and Gambia, and I asked one of the deaconesses to bring me some fabric back, and this was a piece of it, and I shared it. That's the front, and that's the back, and I shared it with my sister. But even from Senegal and Gambia, there's a difference in the weight of the fabric from the different countries. So here's some of Auntie Joanne's imagination fabric. Oh, oh, oh. So this is some imported fabric, like some that I had. And this one came from my daughter, but this one went to Auntie Joanne. And it's made of real wool. It's pieced on the back, but I want to show you because I had a piece similar to this. It was like this in the browns. This is beaded. Those are tiny, tiny beads, you guys. All of those, yes, it's like 3D fabric. The back looks as beautiful as the front. Are you guys enjoying this or are you bored? This is one piece, and since they're individually done, they actually hem the edges of the fabric so it doesn't ravel. This next piece will blow your mind. Look at this. I'm holding it back so that you can see the size of it, and I don't know what the shape of this character is, but I want to hold it. I guess I'll hold a half up. Can you see that this is beaded? I guess with the light on it, you can see that this fabric is beaded. And all this is beaded. I don't know what Auntie Joanne will eventually make out of it. It's very, very special. Very special. And even these two pieces are not exactly alike. You can see one is like slightly bigger than the other one. Just enjoying this awesome live smack like that. Thank you. Like the push the like button, you guys. Also, see your office is gonna be a mess tonight. I got fabrics going anyplace. I wanted to show you guys something else. When you go to like interior design studios and whatnot, they charge you a lot now, often for the samples. But I had someone when I was in North Carolina who had like a basement, a warehouse full of all these fabrics, some of the interior designers, and they gave me the pieces of them. This, you guys, is raw silk. All these are pieces of raw silk. And like if you were having, say, a sofa made by Fendi or Ralph Lauren or somebody, you would go and you would pick out the fabric that you wanted. the real silk. And then it has the numbers on the back with the colors that you would pick. So these two, to me, look exactly the same. But then these are not African fabrics. These are just good fabrics. These are pure silk. And these are Auntie Joanne's. I'm not sure where she got these. But see, going back to zero waste quilting, you would take these off of these cards and use the pieces or mix and match them. And see, that's what makes it art. All of these are pieces of raw silk. Why does Auntie Joanne have them if she wasn't quilting? She just likes nice stuff. She just likes touching them. There's something about the joy of touching nice fabrics that you just can't get it out of your system. It's like an addiction. Oh, speaking of which, it's not an addiction. I was downstairs and we were watching tennis. I don't know how many of you are tennis fans. Uncle Roscoe is an avid tennis fan, and by default, Auntie Joanne is as well. They know the names of all the players, what all of their handicaps are. They know all the stuff, right? So we were talking about something in tennis this morning, and the reporters were celebrating. So some had some Moet Chandon champagne, and then others had some Prosecco. Well, Prosecco is the exact type of wine that champagne is, except the grapes have to be grown in Champagne, France, in order to be called champagne. The exact same wine. I actually like Prosecco a little better than most champagnes. Why? Because it's a little bit sweeter, little tiny bit sweeter. So this is some of Auntie Joanne's mix and match fabric from one of the stores, but it's a really, really nice quality. This fabric, I know, it came from that shop in New York where I ordered the fabric, and I was in a quilt guild in North Carolina, actually, several of them, right? And you can see where it says Hollandaise, it's Holland stamped fabric. I actually cut some of this up. This good fabric, you guys, it made masks during the shutdown. And the mask, this came in a pink and it came in a green. And I made it for the ministers' wives. And again, you can see the stamping mark. So, yes, speaking of zero waste fabric, you don't even waste the corners of this. I see you guys are still here. You're having fun. I say you when you visit my house, my real house. I don't have a house. I live in a handicapped apartment now. I can't even take care of that. I need help to take care of that. And it's like this is what I would do. But anyway, Auntie Joanne pulled out some prosecco. She actually has couple wine fridges around here. I haven't even been exploring to go see what's in them. Okay, so this is a very beautiful piece of fabric. I used to have an equal amount at one time, but I know I cut it up and did something with it, did bits and pieces and bits. So isn't this a really pretty fabric? So, Sissy, I'm kind of folding your fabrics back up neatly or not. 755 Media said, of course we're still here. You love seeing them. Thanks, you guys. I appreciate you all because you know what? It's like good friends become family, and family is everything. Okay. So this one, I am not sure where it was imported from. It says Daiwabo selection for E. Shank Company, but it's marked on the edge. But look at the designs in here. Now, some of this you can mix and match with some of these things. And well, Auntie Joanne is very particular. She looks at me, some of the things I put together, and my style of artistry is different than hers. I like something eclectic. I'm gonna put a pop of color in there intentionally because it doesn't match. You know how some people say, I'm gonna do something even if it's wrong. I'm going to buck the rules. I am going to buck the rules. You see this little piece of fabric? She saved it. This is worth something. You can tie it on something, put it on a gift. You can decoupage it. It's beautiful. You don't waste your money. Zero waste, you guys. So you think I showed you this one. They're actually different. If you look carefully, you can see that they're two different colors. You see the different Big Rooster. What's up? How you doing, guy? Lisa, awkward quilter. Thanks for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. We're just having a fabric show from Auntie Joanne. And again, this is that Daiwabo fabric selection. So let's just be nosy and see how much of it was. Oh, I can tell this was a yard because my Native American friend, I don't even want to cry, her going home services tomorrow. She passed away. She taught me to measure the Native American way by putting it on your nose and extending your arm. So this is 1 yard. This was 1 yard of this fabric. There's a fabric store here in Arizona called the 59th Street Fabric Company. I promise you, you could spend your mortgage in there easily, 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 easily. I went in there one day to get this special foot for Auntie Joanne's featherweight. And while we were waiting, the lady came over and said, "Oh, some boutiques just came in." What did she say that for? I had $400 in the budget to spend on fabrics. Well, after the 400 was gone, I had to borrow like 400 from my sister, Auntie Joanne, because I just couldn't stop touching it. Oh my gosh, you guys. I don't know how many yards this is. It's several. But this is like a silk. It is so fabulous. I'm not going to take it loose, but this is like sari. This is like sari silk. And you can see, maybe Lisa knows, you can see the writing on the edge of it. You know, sometimes when my daughter travels, she goes places and they have some of the sari silk. Some of you know that I put patchouli in a lot of my quilts or things that I make. Number one, I like the way it smells. I use it on my body as an essential oil. And but patchouli was invented in India thousands of years ago as a way of protecting the silk that was made and put in these saris. Some of the saris and some of the kimonos that I have seen cost 10, 20, $25,000 in this rare silk. So they would make it, and they didn't want the not mosquitoes, the worms and whatnot eating on this fabric silk. So this is something that's kind of an edging that you could use in a quilt, clothing, whatever, whatever. And it's like embroidered applique. It's got like little beads and things on it. I try to hold it real close so that you can see it. And when I take it back in the sunlight, you can kind of see where it's like gold and silver and everything. She won't come up here. She won't show her face. So I'm just bothering her stuff. Now, she makes paper. I don't know whether this is paper. Oh, it is. It's part of a bag. I like when I travel to other countries and they have this 323 number is a Los Angeles number. This might be the place that she went to get. She bought some lace and some denim fabric. Okay, so that's not the bottom of this one yet. Not yet, grasshopper. Not yet, grasshopper. You guys amaze me. Miss Shirley, OG Gardner. George, it would be hard for you to cut those fabrics. The gray would make a nice kimono. It would. It would. I have some kimonos that my daughter got me, and she knows me. I might be gardening. I might go fry a piece of chicken. She'll say, "Mom, this is a very special kimono. This is a very special one, Mom." Okay, noted. Noted. The mother from you know where. So, oh, I know what these are. So, you guys know that I cut my own fabrics. So, these are African fabrics. They're 30 blocks, they're 6.5 inch blocks. And these are some of Auntie Ellen's fabrics that I cut and gave to my sister. So the oh, I remember. Oh, this sissy. These are part of the package that I told you I spent $65 to have this shipped after I bought all those pieces. And then I took the fabric, and when I buy fabrics like that, I'll cut different size blocks or strips to have later on. I'll cut like one strip off of the end that's 6.5 inches. I'll cut one that's 5 inches. I'll cut wide 5 inches because then I can make 5 inch charm squares, or I can cut it the long way, 2.5 inches and 2.5 inches, and make my own jelly roll strips. So that's what I do with that. And Uncle Quilter said, "Those are beautiful pieces. Thank you." So here is the sun is kind of bright, but I hope you can see these are beautiful fabrics. And she'll probably be in the bushes or something. But Unbiased LLC, she says, "Auntie, you cut these?" Yeah, I used to have, when I had that 1,500 square foot studio, I had a really big table, a really big cutting board, big rotary cutters, and sometimes I would just cut all day. So these are some of the fabrics, and they're thick. Can you see how thick this you can actually see it. It's thicker than a piece of like cardstock. And when I'm touching these, I can feel the texture of the fabric. Sissy, I'm gonna put them back together neatly and put them in your bag. I am, before I go back to Connecticut. No, I'll do it tonight or tomorrow. We actually watch sports in the evening, and we eat dinner every night as a family here, just like we did growing up. Auntie Joanne and Uncle Roscoe and I wait to eat with each other. Now, see, this was kind of wild for me. I remember cutting this up. This is in that package, Sissy, that I spent $65 to mail here, because it was like, this was not my personal idea, but these are the modern African fabrics now that they make the beautiful dresses and gaylays and head wraps and everything. Is the sun too bright coming in the window, you guys? I can close the blind a little bit. Beautiful, multifaceted, embroidered fabric. You're loving it. It would be hard for you to cut these. I already did. They're cut into 6.5 inch blocks so that whatever she does, now you could take each one of these blocks and put like some sashing in it, and it would be its own quilt. I remember when I cut this one because it had my favorite color, purple. And these are crazy colors. I just love, love, love fabrics. Oh, this wasn't even a whole piece. This was a piece of a 6.5 inch block, but it's in here anyway. Why? Because it's just nice fabric. Big Rooster. Look, these were ends and pieces when I was cutting the 6.5 inch pieces. But guess what? This looks to me to be about a 2.5 inch piece, which would be like a piano key. I make a lot of my piano keys 6.5 inches. What are piano keys? They're pieces of fabric that you cut that we normally put on borders of quilts, and they're like piano keys. You know, they're the black keys, the white keys. I don't know anything about music, but in on the sides as borders on some of your quilts, these are really nice. And I like having a cutting board underneath the sewing machine. So here's one right here, and these are exactly 2.5 inches. Or you could cut them into 2.5 inch squares. Now, see, this came in the package that I ordered. I ordered some blind. These are not my cup of tea in fabrics. I can't even tell the front and the back, but just so that you see the quality of the fabric. And I don't have a quilt in my mind that I could put this into, which is why I probably put some blender fabric in here. Joanne Stevens is saying, "Hey, awkward quilter, Georgia." See, all these are African fabrics that I ordered in that batch that I bought sight unseen. But it goes to show you that African fabrics are not just the traditional ones that you think, but the quality, the weight of the fabric, and the density of the dye in it is unbeatable. You can't, there's no place, and they're changing because why? They can't afford, nobody can afford to buy this type of fabric. They said, you can see and hear me clearly. Okay, so this is a piece of two-tone fabric. But isn't this fun seeing what other people have to quilt with? This one, I can see the front and the back. This is the front, and this is the back. I can also feel that it's not quite as thick as the fabrics that I used to get shipped over. Mother, Miss Shirley saying hello. Egoamote, mother. Speaking of zero waste, this is nothing. This is nothing that you would throw away. You would not put this in your scrap jar, or maybe you would, but you would be cray cray. You would be a little bit cray cray. Oh, thank you, Big Rooster. Thank you. And you guys, my mother has her neck bone pillow with her in the rehab, the nursing rehab. Again, you guys have no idea how thick, thick, thick this fabric is. It is so luscious to touch. But again, I didn't get into a debate with the person I bought these from, but when they said like a scrappy or what, like you get seeds in a packet and there's surprise or unmarked seeds. I forget the word for it. That's what this package was. She knew after I accidentally bought these. Don't send Auntie Ellen any more of these. Miss Shirley, we hope your knee PT is progressing. Sending prayers across the miles, Joanne, that you feel better soon. Okay. Now here is a green piece of the African fabrics. But the lady that I bought these fabrics from, she gave us a tutorial on the different fabrics. That's how I know so much about the thickness and with the new colors and the new weights. So this one, you can tell, I can feel and tell this is the front and this is the back. It's a lighter density. You could probably see it even in the sunlight. I'm just giving you a tutorial about fabrics from different places. And I made, when I got them, I'm trying to hold it so that there's not a glare on the fabric. Maybe if I put this a little more forward. Yeah, that works. Or not. So this bag has 30 different pieces that are different. I don't even know if my sister took them all out. And then the way you turn them makes a difference. This one is like cowrie shells. My sister, I didn't bring it upstairs, but has a little jar with some cowrie shells on it for me to add to my quilts. Oh, I love, love, love this one. I remember this one. It had like gold and stuff. Actually, it may be in some of those pieces over there. I want to make sure I show you guys the front and the back of this one. Oh yeah, I'll keep it back here near me because I have them black and gold. You see this side is kind of black and gold. That's the right side. This is the back side of it. So you can tell this was just a leaf just to mix and match with some of the other fabrics. I know where these fabrics came from. Each piece. So these that Auntie Joanne has, these zebras came from a quilt shop in North Carolina. Can you see how detailed this fabric is? You can see each zebra on each. This fabric was like $30 a yard here in the United States. It was one of my quilt guild, my long arm guild had a meeting, and the quilt shop where they sell all the big expensive machines eh, down there near one of the Air Force Army bases, some base. And this is the last of the fabrics. Auntie Ellen cut 6.5, perfect 6.5 inch by 6.5 inch. So, you guys, I will just show you. This is funny. Some of the scraps, and these are not any kind of like African fabrics or anything. Just it's what my sister threw in the door at me. At me. But we're not going to waste them. These are bags of scraps. And then, you can put these pieces back together with glue. You don't have to sew them. Doretha, you can put them on paper to make postcards, put Mod Podge on it. You can do so many things. Oh, I know why I gave these to my sister. You see what it says? I wouldn't do it anymore. They're in here in Arizona, in Sedona, Arizona. They have a lot of spas, a lot of museums and whatnot. But they also have a yearly festival called a hummingbird retreat. And you can put all these tiny pieces of fabric. Might you might even do it for your squirrels. And they use this for their nests, and the nests become so colorful. They also take like cotton, not like the cotton batting. Well, see this? This is cute. This is not going back in her scraps. This is going in my zero waste piece over there. Why? Because it's big enough that I can see. I can see it and sew it. So, you guys, wait, there's another bag of scraps over there. She's downstairs in her real studio. Her studio. She has a glass studio where she has two of the big kilns that take the 220 electricity. I'm looking at this piece. I don't know what was sewn together, but this is some of the Australian fabric. This little piece. How do I know? Because when we were hopscotching around Arizona doing a fabric, what do you think? A fabric hop. We bought this as Aborigine fabric. This one was an orange. Awkward quilter Lisa, you guys, there was a guy in one of your quilting groups that had some of this in brown. And what this is, the Aborigine fabrics, the Aborigines are the natives of Australia. They're dark skinned, like African people or African Americans, but they have a type of skin that gets keloids. And if they take pins or sharp objects and they make patterns in their skin, and when it heals with all these designs. And there are some of the fabric designers in Australia, like Kaif Fassett and his husband, have actually gone and gotten some of the fabrics that are licensed, and they give the people, the Aborigines, some of the money for using their patterns. Let me back up before I reach too far and fall out of this chair. I'm always overreaching. Sometimes when I'm outside doing stuff, my sister will come back out after a while. I'll leave the patio door unlocked. She'll go out another door, or her bedroom. I said, I knew you were coming back here to check on me. She said, yeah, I just wanted to make sure you didn't fall. So this is bags of cut fabric. Oh my gosh. Do you see what this is, you guys? I want to show you what I gave away during the shutdown. So this is strips of fabric from COVID-19 masks. You guys, it says, Miss Shirley sending prayers, history about the fabrics. I actually, I didn't go to, I didn't go buy $2 a yard fabric when I made my masks. And this was at a time where doctors, nurses were dying because they couldn't get masked. Nobody could get masked. And there was no elastic to put in like the masks now. So I made strips so they could tie them around their caps and whatnot. So, Ceci, did you not? Oh, she did not. Come in her own office. So, these are some of the fabulous fabrics I cut up to make masks. This is nice fabric. This might go in that piece I'm working on, Sissy, or not. With your permission, Hunty. So these I cut up into masks. This is going over there too. Oh, how about a piece of this? We know this is authentic, right? And then this is just some green, but these are pieces of my good fabric that I cut up to make masks to try to save other people's lives. This is some of my authentic African fabric. I know because I know where I bought it. I made a lot of masks like this. I may stick a piece of that over there. So you can see how much of this fabric I actually cut up. These are layers and layers and layers of this particular one because I thought children would enjoy, or some of the people in the hospitals would enjoy having like animal print. So, leopard. Now I could use a scrap of this in that piece I'm working on. Thanks, Sissy. She said beautiful pieces. Thank you. But I shared my soul during the shutdown because I wanted to help save lives. This was not the prettiest fabric, but it was purple. Lots of folks like purple, right, Michael? Mike. Oh, look at all of this. Now, this could well be used in a quilt. Look at all of. I remember buying a 6 yard piece of this animal print. There is a lot of this that could go in a quilt. Maybe a couple pieces might accidentally get moved over to the sissy pile, to the sister pile. Use what you like, sissy. Oh, I just like having pieces of it. Hadn't seen it since 2023. And this was just some dark fabric. It was interesting how many people said that they wanted masks made of black. Oh, I remember this piece of fabric. This was an expensive piece because it has that gold in it. I love black and gold in those African fabrics. This was some green. Why? Because it matched. I made the masks double sided, and so they were washable masks, and they with the green on the one side they could wash it and have the other side plain. This was just some blue fabric. This is a nice heavy piece of tan that matches something. These are pieces cut off of the mask. Now this is funny. There's somebody called Rita's Roost. She likes chickens, but this was a double-sided fabric that I made bags out of, totes, and it's double quilted. This side had all sunflowers on it. Psalm 146 likes sunflowers, and it had roosters on the other side. So these were just some of the little pieces and squares left over from that. And speaking of zero waste, this was some really nice batik, water dyed batik. You could see all the natural dyes in the colors where they were hand dipped. I might accidentally put a piece of that in my pile. Why? Because I'm the good sister. Or not. When my mom used to tell my dad I did things to get in trouble, and he would come home from work because he always worked two jobs every day, all of our lives. And and one of them was his own business. And he would say, "Oh, Pen, the good daughter. Aw, the good daughter. She wouldn't do that. Not the good daughter. 755 Media. She's over here enjoying this fabric." Well, you guys, we have a celebrity in here. She's probably going to get on me for telling. But Thursday, those of you who were in here, oh, I say I love animal prints. This might accidentally have to go in that piece over there I'm working on. Um, those of you who are quilters and you have heard of the G's Ben quilters, well, none other than our esteemed artist 755 Media. I do know her government name, as Mike would say. I do know her government name. I didn't equate it with it, but some of the original G's Ben quilters are her family. Now, almost everybody there was related. One of the famous names there was Petaway, and the Petaway family weren't even all related to each other. It was just everybody who lived in that area who had been once owned by a plantation owner named Petaway ended up taking that name. Look, here's another animal print. I love animal prints. This one is interesting. Why? Because it's just a black on black pattern when you're mixing and matching fabrics. That might accidentally go to the zero waste pile. So, you know what I love about these? They're marked like from different projects. When I would finish a project, I would say what it came from and then throw the scraps over there. I was sick of it already. So these are my sisters, and this is some more of the sunflowers. I think I accidentally put two unidentifiable seeds, sunflower seeds, in my sister's one of her pots, and those sunflowers might grow 7 to 14 feet tall. So she will work it out. Oh, this is cute. This is actually really fine pieces of fabric. And you see what it says? For hummingbird nests. So you guys, those of you who sew, have squirrels or whatever, you can put pieces of fabric out for them to make their nest with. Isn't that humane? So I've come to the end of these lovely scraps. This, she actually has some stabilizer on the back. Oh, wait, we didn't. I see a piece of this I haven't shown you. This is some of the African fabric with the pink and like the brown and the purple. Let's just look in here. We've come this far together. And see if there's any interesting pieces in here. I don't know what this was because it was sewn, but that was a pretty piece of fabric. This is even a piece of that shwar. So interesting. Now this was an expensive piece of fabric. You see that with that like gold in there? Well, that might accidentally have to go in my piece. This was even sewn, but here again we are talking about zero waste. Another little piece of that Aborigine fabric with the dots in it. Okay. So, you guys, how about that? Thank you, Auntie Joanne, for letting me tear up your fabrics all over the place. Wasn't this fun, you guys? Well, if one thing doesn't work out, another does. Just like in the kitchen, you're cooking, you might plan for one meal. I was going to get some oxtail to make something, but never did get to that. Or some ribs, didn't do that. But we're having the Cornish hens and some other things. So, do you guys have any questions? So here's my cell phone. Do you have any questions about anything today or about the fabrics? And these are just little bits and pieces. All these, except for the ones my sister threw in the door, were in this one little tote. And she has other fabric and stuff, but she just values hers, and she just takes such good care of it. She just takes good care of it. Auntie Ellen, fabrics are accidentally going in my pile. Yes, Actually, she told me I could have whatever I wanted. And they're sitting right here, the pile that's accidentally going in that piece I'm working on called Zero Waste, a zero waste art project. Not any of her schwa or anything. Anyway, I have some of those small pieces left in Connecticut. So, Yankee says I'm a walking fabric historian. Some of the quilts I've made, the strip quilts, I know where all those fabrics came from. I've been quilting for like 20 26 years. I started in 1999 when I was consulting. I was working as a management consultant and I used to travel a lot. Well, I would be in these fancy hotels with my own suite. And in the evening, after I taught all day long, I was a corporate contract trainer for a lot of the big banks and businesses. And I taught paralegal studies in the community college. Well, hello, Katrina. Thanks for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. In the evening, I would go back to my hotel in these strange cities and there would be nothing to do. So I couldn't find anyone to make the first king size quilt for my mom and dad. So I started making a quilt, the first one, and it's 26 years old. It's in tatters. She'll probably be in tatters when I told her. So blessed by Jess! Exclamation mark GQUAT. It will pop up in a second. And you couldn't. Let me see what Mike is saying. You could use dessert though, Mike. There are, well, first of all, there's sweet cornbread like you like, and there are two lemon pies down there, Mike, that are still in the freezer we didn't take out with the graham cracker crust. I just got some sweet potatoes too. I might make some sweet potato pie or bake some. And I like to cook. I never cook in Connecticut except if I'm bringing an extra dish a la carte because my daughter, my granddaughter, my great granddaughter even has a small baking business, with the dipped chocolates and strawberries, the little shots of Patron to go with it. And I'm slow. I'm slow. I cook in, and when my leg starts hurting, Miss Shirley, I tell you, when my leg starts hurting, I go sit down. I'll go cook 15, 20 minutes, go sit down. Mike, what are you grilling? Mike. I threatened Auntie Joanne that I would put up her grill and put some ribs on it, but I didn't. Didn't go get the ribs. I got whatever could be delivered. Recipes, please, Katina. Okay, if you go on the channel and I started making a playlist with some of my cooking. The lemon pie, Joy Tea, the lemon pie recipe, and a demo is in my on my playlist. It says 3 ingredient lemon pie, and the you can print out the recipe. I actually had um, Dolores put it in a really nice format. Mike, burgers for your wife, steak for you. Oh, sissy, they're going to be delivering some of those really nice burger buns today. I thought maybe we would have a juicy hamburger at some point. So, you guys, I'm a good cook. I'm a really good cook. Enjoy tea. If you go in the if you go in my playlist with the cooking and the food where I cook, I promise you I have all the recipes there. She doesn't like steak, she loves burgers. I have difficulty swallowing steak. So I like my steak ground. I like steak meat that's ground into hamburger meat. Joy T says, great, thanks. She'll print out the recipe and make it tomorrow. In fact, Joy T, Dolores. Dolores probably has it in her in her list of files that's easier to get to because she put them on Canva for me. You love strawberry rhubarb pie? I have never made that, but we have people in here that do make strawberry rhubarb pie. Oh, what is it? Sammy Joe, 1982, makes strawberry rhubarb pie. And a couple of other people, Francesca may or may not make it. Francesca, 82, 84, because I know that she does have rhubarb over there. You wish you were in Arizona. Big Rooster, I need to give you a call because I want to talk about a what do you call it? A hog Harley Davidson that is for sale, and it's in the box. I know that you are Harley Davidson mechanic, and this one will be going up for sale soon. Jags, thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, Joy T, you don't know Dolores? Okay. I will disregard that, Joy T. I have it. I know that I have it in my recipes. If not, I will print it out. Darth X, you love hamburgers. That's your kryptonite. I like hamburgers better than steak. Although I made some really good New York strip steaks a couple weeks ago here. So, if you guys don't have any questions or comments, now, oh wait, I found one last little piece of cafe facet fabric, that little rainbow looking stuff. I know where all these fabrics come from. So now it's time to say goodbye to all our lovely friends in American Sign Language. This is an I. The sun is so bright. This is an I. This is an L. This is the U. Egowamote. That's how you say I love you. You like a silver piece of every time you walk by it. So thank you. Hold on for the outro, you guys. And now it's time to say goodbye to all our lovely friends. I'm afraid if I go the outro, I might end up in something else. Oh, here it is. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share.